As the days get shorter and the air gets cooler, it's time to say goodbye to another gardening season. In today's video, I'll walk you through why I clear out my balcony garden at the end of the season and the steps I take to prepare for next year. From the last harvest to getting rid of all the plants, I'll share my process for putting the garden to bed so it's ready for the next season. Let's get started. As you can see, towards mid-fall, most plants in the garden are now dead, and they have been for quite some time. Some plants still have some veggies in them, so we will make sure to harvest them. As much as I love my balcony garden, the end of season requires a bit more work than a regular garden since the containers need to be put away. So today I'll be putting away the containers, but first we need to empty them. Some tools are required for this work, so we will need a trash bag, gardening gloves, and cutters. This work feels therapeutic in a way, since it's a very low mental work and is repetitive. But it's a great way to remember all the vegetables, herbs, and flowers my garden gave me during the summer season. So one by one, I take each container and remove the plant from it. I start by removing the squirrel nets, cutting the rope I use to keep it in place for the season. These are all perfectly measured for the containers, so I will roll them and keep them for next season. Then for each plant, I cut off as many branches as possible. It's possible this might need to be done first if they are blocking me from removing the nets, and then I will dig to get the roots out. Since my balcony garden is quite small, I like to get rid of pretty much everything so I can start the next season fresh. This year, I decided to keep my mint since it is a perennial plant, so it should grow back next summer. I still give it a trim so it's easier to put away. As I get rid of each plant, I also make sure to rake the soil to give it some air, toss around the nutrients, and also make it more malleable so it's easier to work with next season. Soil is good from one season to another, so I leave it in the pots during winter to use next summer. Some plants were still in good condition. Some even had some veggies still in it, like the jalapenos, so I did my very last harvest of the season. I got some jalapenos, basil, rosemary, and thyme. If you want to see what else I harvested in my garden this season, make sure to watch my other gardening videos that are linked in the description. Some plants have grown so strong, it's impossible to get rid of them. It was the case for my Scotch bonnet peppers. The plant had taken over the full pot and it was impossible to dig the roots out. When that's the case, I either throw away everything or I leave the plant in the pot for the winter, hoping the roots will die and it will be easier to remove in the springtime. When that's the case, I still make sure to trim it as much as possible to make it easier to store. When my containers are clean of the plants, it's time to put them away. I am lucky to have a neighbor on the first floor who lets me put my containers in her garden for the winter. Otherwise, I would probably pile them up in a corner. So now I need to get every container down 3 floors. It is a great workout. To finish, I clean up my mess, putting my gardening residue in the compost and wiping the surfaces. I also take the time to remove my lights that unfortunately have been eaten by the squirrels, so they will go in the trash. If you have a good system to prevent squirrels from eating your patio furniture or wires for your outdoors lamp, please let me know. This whole routine takes me about 2 hours. I really see it as a seasonal ritual and embrace this task even if it's not the most fun one. It gets me excited and inspired for the next season. Thank you for following my end of season process. If there are specific gardening videos you want to see, let me know in the comments below. Until next season, I have many gardening videos on my channel you can watch to get you inspired for your own balcony garden. Bye bye!